Friends and viewer, good day. Joseph Conrad, a very famous writer, the author of the Lord Jim, and one of his most brilliant novel, The Heart of Darkness, is well known in English literature. Joseph Conrad is a very famous writer. So today we are going to discuss about his novella, Heart of Darkness. Heart of Darkness centers around Marlowe, an introspective sailor, and his journey to the Congo River to meet Kurtz, reputed to be an idealistic man of great abilities. Marlowe takes a job as a riverboat captain with the company, a Belgian concern organized to take in the Congo. As he travels to Africa and then up the Congo, Marlowe encounters widespread inefficiency and brutality in the company's station. The native inhabitants of the region have been forced into the company's service, and they suffer terribly from overwork and ill treatment at the hands of company agents. The cruelty and the squalor of imperial enterprises contrast sharply with the impassive and majestic jungle that surrounds the white man's settlement, making them appear to be tiny islands amidst vast darkness. Marlowe arrives at the central station, run by the general manager, in an unwholesome, conspiratorial character. He finds that his steamship has been sunk and spends several months waiting for parts to repair. His interest in Kurtz growing during this period. The manager and his favorite, the brickmaker, seem to fear Kurtz as a threat to their position. Kurt is rumored to be ill, making the delays in repairing the ship all the more costly. Marlowe eventually gets the part he needs to repair his ship, and he and the manager set out with a few agents whom Marlowe calls pilgrims because of their strange habit of carrying long wooden staves wherever they go, and a crew of cannibals on a long, difficult voyage up to the river. The dense jungle and the oppressive silence make everyone abroad a little jumpy, and the occasional glimpse of the native village or the sound of drum works the pilgrims into a frenzy. Marlowe and his crew come across a hut with a stacked firewood, together with a note saying that the wood is for them and they should approach cautiously. Shortly after the steamer has taken on the firewood, it is surrounded by a dense fog. When the fog clears, the ship is attacked by an unseen band of natives who fire arrows from the safety of the forest. The African hillsman is killed before Marlowe frightens the native away with the ship's steam whistle. Not long after, Marlowe and his companion arrives at Kurt's inner station, expecting to find him dead, but a half-crazed Russian trader who meets them as they come ashore assures them that everything is fine and informs them that he is the one who left the wood. The Russian claims that Kurtz has enlarged his mind and cannot be subjected to the same moral judgment as normal people. Apparently, Kurtz has established himself as a god with the natives and has gone on brutal raids in the surrounding territory in search of ivory. The collection of severed heads adorning the fence post around the station attests to his method. The pilgrim bring Kurtz out of the station house on a stretcher and a large group of native warriors pours out of the forest and surround them. Kurt speaks to them, and the native disappear in the woods. The manager brings Kurt, who is quite ill, aboard the steamer. A beautiful native woman, apparently Kurt's mistress, appears on the shore and stares out at the ship. The Russian implies that she is somehow involved with Kurds and has caused trouble before throwing her influence over him. The Russian reveals to Marlowe, after swearing him to secrecy, that Kurds had ordered the attack on the steamer to make them believe he was dead in order that they might turn back and leave him to his plans. The Russian then leaves by canoe, fearing the displeasure of the manager. Kurds disappear in the night, and Marlowe goes out in search of him. Finding him crawling on all fours towards the native camp, Marlowe stops him and convinces him to return to the ship. They set off down the river the next morning, but Kurt's health is failing fast. Marlowe listened to the Kurds talk while he pilots the ship, and Kurds entrust Marlowe with a packet of personal documents, including an eloquent pamphlet on civilizing the savage, which ends with a scrawled message that says, "Exterminate all the brutes." The steamer breaks down and they have to stop for repair. Kurt dies, uttering his last word, "The horror, the horror." In the presence of the confused, Marlowe falls ill soon after and barely survives. Eventually he returns to Europe and goes to see Kurt's intended, his fiancée. She's still in mourning, even though has been over a year since Kurt's death, and she praises him as the paragon of virtue and achievement. She asks what his last words were, but Marlowe cannot bring himself to shatter her illusion with the truth. Instead, he tells her that Kurt's last word was her name. So this is the story of this novella, The Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. So the theme of this novel is, let us see the theme, what theme is involved in this novel. We can find while we read this novel, there are certain points and themes involved. The hypocrisy of imperialism. Heart of Darkness explores the issues surrounding imperialism in complicated ways. As Marlowe travels from the outer station to the central station and finally up the river to the inner station, he encounters scenes of torture, cruelty, and near slavery. At the very least, the incidental scenery of the book offers a harsh picture of colonial enterprise. The impetus behind Marlowe's adventure too has to do with the hypocrisy inherent in the rhetoric used to justify imperialism. The men who work for the company describe what they do as a trade, and their treatment of native African is part of benevolent project of civilization. Kurtz, on the other hand, is open about the fact that he does not trade, but rather takes ivory by force, and he describes his own treatment of the natives with the words suppression and extermination. So, madness and as a result of imperialism. Another theme, madness is closely linked to the imperialism in this book. Africa is responsible for mental disintegration as well as physical illness. Madness has two primary functions. Number one, it serves as an ironic device to engage the reader's sympathies. Kurtz Marlowe is told from the beginning is mad. However, as Marlowe and the reader begin to form a more complete picture of Kurt, it became apparent that his madness is only relative. So, the absurdity of evil. This novella is above all an exploration of hypocrisy, ambiguity, and moral confusion. It explored the idea of proverbial choice between the lesser of two evils, as the idealistic Marlowe is forced to align himself with either the hypocritical and malicious Cornelian bureaucracy or openly malevolent rule-defying Kurt. The futility several images throughout Heart of Darkness suggests the futility of European presence in Africa. The first such image Marlowe witnessed of the West African coast, where a French warship fires pointlessly at an invisible enemy. Contradiction and ambivalence. So these are the hollowness, these are the themes involved in this novel, written by Joseph Conrad, The Heart of Darkness. It is a very important book for those people who wants to study the real aim of imperialism in the Africa, how they treat the poor natives and how they exploited their wealth and their resources. This is the Marlowe is the protagonist of this novel, The Heart of Darkness. Marlowe is philosophical, independent-minded, and generally skeptical of those around him. He is also a master storyteller, eloquent and able to draw his listener into his tale. Kurt's the chief of the inner station, object of Marlowe's quest. Kurt is a man of many talent. We learn, among other things, he is a gifted musician and a fine painter, the chief of which are his charisma and his ability to lead men. Kurt is a man who understood the power of word, and his writings are marked by an eloquence that obscure their horrifying message. Journal manager, another character, the brick master, the chief accountant, the cannibals, the Russian trader, Hellsman, Kurt's African mistress, Kurt's intended aunt. So these are the characters involved in this novella, The Heart of Darkness, written by Joseph Conrad. It is a very mysterious, while we read this, it looks also very mysterious on his character, on his theme, but above all, the basic thing involved in this novel is the imperialistic and the exploitative intention of imperialistic power in Africa. Thank you very much.